Hello again, students. This time in our pixel art little unit, we are going to be making portraits. So I just want to give you a sense of the level of complexity that students in the past have done. Be aware that if you think you have blue eyes, making all of your eye blue is going to give you a very unusual, almost like lizard-like look. What I like about this portrait is the simplicity of the nose and that little single pixel that gives it a smile. The complexity of this one is really wonderful. It's got lots of different skin tones in there, complex nose and mouth. This is really great. This one also has its own features that I like about it. For instance, this kind of mustachy look. The nose is almost shaped like an upside down T. The ears are interesting. Little pixel here to show that a little bit of hair is coming down in the middle. That's cool. My favorite part about this one is its simplicity. However, that could also work against it if you're trying to make something a bit more sophisticated and professional and interesting to look at. This one has some cool effects in the hair, but the face looks kind of misshapen. I don't know if we'd be able to recognize this as the person who it actually is. The eyes are unusually shaped, so you want to try and steer clear of really large eyes like that. Stick to the single dot, or this is a grid of 6. This is just 3 pixels in this one, 9 for this one. So same with that. You want to stay clear of that dark outline around the eyes. That's going to make you look like you're a zombie. I think I like this one the most out of all of them. It doesn't have the same complexity as this one, but it has some background context, and it shows us that this person's wearing kind of like a hoodie type of thing. Maybe there's a gold chain he's wearing. It's got a pose. You know, we're seeing one side of his head more than the other side of his head. That's really awesome. So aim for something like this or like this. To start your own file, you need to go to File and New, Blank File. Ones like this guy here are 30 by 30 pixels. Ones like this one are 50 by 50. So just for the sake of space, let's try 50 by 50 at 72. The background can be transparent, and press OK. After closing all those other windows, I can focus on this, dragging it to the orange line and zooming in by pressing Control plus to about there. I also have the picture that I'm going to be using to make my portrait right here. So I'm going to drag that back into the space here. And I can change the view of these so I can see them both at the same time by clicking on 2 up. There they go. They fit into this workspace very conveniently that way. I'd like my swatches open because that's an important part of working with pixels. So I go to Color Swatches, and I might have my swatches just located here so it's easy to access them. And I want to choose a color for this dude's skin that that kind of represents the whole general skin tone. And the tool that will help you select that is this eyedropper tool here. It might look like this if they're all stacked in a row. And click on somewhere you think is the general skin color. Maybe it's somewhere in the forehead. So I've got that as my foreground color, and my foreground color kind of like an orangey reddish right at the top. Press OK, and that can be added to your swatches by either clicking somewhere in here to let that paint bucket drop a new swatch, or by clicking this create a new color swatch. So that's my mid color. I want at least a few other colors, like maybe some shadowy chin colors. I'll choose that and add that there. Now, if it's a point sample, it's only grabbing one of those pixels. I can generalize it by doing like a 5 by 5 average as well, and that'll give me a slightly different color. So a more average color. So that's kind of a brownish yellow kind of tone. We get our pinkish yellow kind of tone, and we need some shadowy kind of color as well. So let's get maybe that. And it's interesting to do this exercise because you never realize that your face, you know, if you're this guy's skin tone, you're never realizing that your face gets that brown, but that's what it does. You also want to choose maybe some hair color while you've got the eyedropper tool open, so click on that, add that, maybe some of the darker stuff so that you can change in between, and you can get creative with colors as you go. Another thing that people benefit from choosing is lip or gum color. So choose one of those. Choose maybe an eye color as well, just in case. look quite dark greenish brown maybe in this case, even though the person's eyes are bluish. And if you need to zoom in, you can. Might help to make like a 3x3 point sample to get that a little bit more greenish. And make that a color. All right, so we've got a bunch of different colors to work with, and now it's time to start drawing our face. So using the pencil tool, which is hidden under the brush, you make sure it's the size of 1. Opacity can be 100 right now, and in this file, make sure it's selected, you can choose the color that is basically the middle tone, the middle color of your skin. So you're making a head shape. I'm going to make mine a little bit like that. You can use the paint bucket tool on anti-aliases off, and you can fill things up quite easily that way. Now, I look like I have a bit of a bulge here going on, so I'm going to erase some of that. And I would get the basic shape of your head before you do anything else. You don't have to make it exactly the same. You could make it an exaggerated form. That's sometimes kind of fun too. So start picking colors that you've already got, adding that hair up here. Sometimes you don't want to go too much with the color. It's just really for the sake of 1 or 2 pixels that you want to have some contrast. And if you feel like getting creative in the hair now, choose your foreground color and just, if you want to go lighter, go a bit lighter. Add a few pixels like that. And if you go back to the eyedropper tool and you want to change that, go there. Maybe some of it's going to have a yellowishness to it. And use your pencil and drop those yellow bits in, just for some character in there, some variety. I'm going to choose my lips now, and probably not all going to be the same. This looks kind of dark. But remember, your pixel portrait is not going to look exactly like you anyway, so that's fine. You can make an exaggeration of the form. And I didn't choose my teeth color, and they're certainly not going to be bright white. They're going to be somewhere, if I click on this to choose my color, I can hover over the tooth, and it might try to make an average of that lip color and gum color right around the tooth, but it'll be somewhere in here. It'll be kind of a yellowish orange. So I'm just going to click on these and, oops, Control Z, and see how that's looking. Might look good. We'll see. Maybe I'll make a funny gap in my teeth. Go like a slightly darker reddish color. There. That's funny. Now we have to add some of those darker colors that go around the face in all sorts of different ways, such as on the way down from the nose. You might find it easy to have a shortcut. Hold down Alt, and that activates the eyedropper tool whenever you're drawing. So it's easy to just choose this background color, click that, and then select maybe these pixels, and that'll bring the this dark shape up to my nose. I can choose this color now to do underneath my nose. This is going to look very funny, I'm sure. There's a few dark colors up here on the way in between my eyes. And so I'm just playing around now. It's making me feel embarrassed and laugh at myself, but that's fine. This brown seems like it's too dark for the shadow of here, so I'm just going to hold down Alt or select the background color, go back to my pencil, and go inside that and just get a little bit darker through this method. And see if we can improve that level of darkness so it doesn't look as funny. That's a little bit better. And obviously this has changed my appearance. If you guys do it and you make it look exactly like yourselves, I'll be amazingly amazed and impressed. But this is a very funny kind of representation of this person here, and I'm sure you guys will do a wonderful job yourselves. Don't forget the ears, and don't forget the whatever colors and backgrounds you want to have in there. So let's say I want this dark t-shirt to kind of start around there, and let's say it's something like that, and we can give this gangly neck a little longer like this. And you'll of course have to add some of that dark depth to give a sense of that chin. You can switch these foreground and background colors with the arrows. And continue at it. When you're happy with your result, it's always fun to have a little bit of a background. So if you could make a new layer for yourself, that's this create a new layer button at the bottom of your layers palette, and drag that below your layer 1, and it's in here that you can use the paint bucket to drop any interesting color that you think might look good with you. So if I did pea green, maybe it's looking like that, Control Z, or maybe if I do yellow, it's looking really bright and funny, Control Z to undo that. Maybe you want to go subtle and do a nice navy or something like that. That really boosts the appearance of you, but it brings the kind of mood down as well, Control Z. So whatever color you want to do that, and then finally press File and Save As. You're going to first save it as your name, your last name dot first name. We're still not even in the right location yet. Your last name dot first name dash whatever it is that you're saving it as, so portrait. And inside of portraits, that's where it'll go. So wukash.mrportrait.psd, save that so you can have an adjustable thing later, and then File, Save As again, do it again. And this time, just change the format from Photoshop to JPEG, and leave the word copy there. Just press Save and maximize the quality to 12 with this slider. Press OK. You've handed it in. Good job.